Welcome to another video to help you stay healthy effortlessly. This video is about understanding the importance of fasting and why fasting is the key to good health. Now, when you talk about fasting, it is not the intermittent fasting, but it is the traditional way of fasting. So we will understand what is the traditional way of fasting, which is the why and how of fasting the right way, and what is intermittent fasting doing to your body in the long term. Yes, in the short term you might be getting result, you might be losing weight, but why this is not the way forward, or why it is not sustainable for majority of the people around the world. So let's quickly start and understand the history of intermittent fasting. Now, before I go to intermittent fasting, let me quickly break the myth of the fasting, that fasting is not for the body. A lot of people take up fasting to either lose weight or for some kind of the bodily stuff. Now, that is absolutely not the focus. The real benefit of fasting is for the mind. So fasting is the training of the mind to help your body stay healthy effortlessly. Now, this is not happening when you talk about intermittent fasting. The entire term of intermittent fasting started in the year 1915 when two people known as Fallin and Dennis, they did some experiment in the labs and they saw that short period of starvation was helpful in losing weight. So the entire intermittent fasting was only with the intention of weight loss. So if you want to lose weight, you have to starve yourself for intermittent period of time throughout the day, which will lead to weight loss, so that you don't have to go into calorie counting or dieting or extreme form of exercise. And then later by the year 1945, a lot of other scientists came into the picture, and then they gave this entire terminology as intermittent fasting. And this method was derived specifically for the purpose of weight loss. The sole reason was to lose weight. So you stay hungry for 18 hours, 16 hours, and then you eat in a specific time of the window, and then you will see the results in terms of weight loss. Yes, it is but obvious that if you deprive your body of the natural food, and on the time when the body is hungry, and when you deprive your body of food, the body will lose weight. But that is not something which is sustainable, because if you see, the year is 1945 when this entire terminology was invented, but humans have been surviving for thousands and millions of years, and they have been staying healthy effortlessly without the terminology of intermittent fasting. Now, a lot of side effects have been reported when you talk about intermittent fasting, because this is not the traditional way of fasting, which is the training of the mind. So a lot of emotional damages have been happening, the energy levels go down, then there is extreme hunger have been reported. So people go out of the way and they start eating more unhealthy food, because they have been depriving themselves of food just with the sole intention of weight loss, or to prevent themselves from some disease. So it is majority of the time done out of fear. So the driving force of intermittent fasting for a lot of people is fear, that I don't want to age, or I don't want to get sick, or I don't want to gain weight. So that's an absolutely wrong mindset when you talk about fasting, because fasting was never for the body. The whole purpose of fasting is to train the mind, your spirit, your emotions, so that you start understanding that we are not born to eat. So the focus has to shift from that I'm living to eat to live, for the purpose of life. So let's understand the traditional way of fasting, which all the religions, either from Islam, from Hinduism or Buddhism, or any other religion that you take in the world, they have been following traditional way of fasting, which dates back to thousands of years. Now, this is the way of fasting. Now, the traditional fasting is not for weight loss, or not out of fear, or not to deprive you of anything, but it is sole purpose is the purification. Now, the term purification is not just purifying the body. Yes, fasting helps you purify your body, detoxify your body. It's the best way. That's the reason the subject is fasting, key to good health. It is not intermittent fasting. It is not time restricted fasting. Now, the purification, how? Obviously, when you abstain from eating regularly, then you allow your body to detoxify, to clean. But not just that, the purpose is not for the bodily weight loss, or for some disease prevention, but purification. And an important element to learn is self-control. So you are learning self-control. When you fast, you are aware that this is the time to not eat. So for example, in month of Ramadan, when we fast, we eat at the time of the morning before the sunrise, and then throughout the day we don't eat, and then during the time of iftar we break the fast. So that's a traditional way of fasting, which is teaching you self control. It has faith attached to it, so it is not driven out of fear, it is driven out of faith. You take it in any religion, the entire process of fasting is done with an intention of faith, devotion, prayer. There are good thoughts and spirits involved, and it is not like, you are not starving yourself for weight loss. It is not a method or a trick or a tip that you are doing it out of fear to lose weight, or to protect, or to fit in the trend. Some celebrity, some influencer on Instagram or on social media, they are doing this, but you don't know the end, because people who have been surviving for hundreds of years and people who are alive at 100, they are not doing any kind of intermittent fasting. They might be doing fasting in the traditional way when there is month, when there is religion, when there is occasion. So they do it for the purpose of purification, to understand self-control, and it is a part of their faith, which is strengthening their faith. Apart from that, the fasting is not just controlling the food, but it is also controlling your spirits, your mind, your emotions. So when you say I'm fasting, I'm not just abstaining from food, but I also make sure that there is no guilt, there is no hate, there is no jealousy. So when we do fasting, we make sure that we forgive people, there is no hate, we do more act of kindness during those months or during those days when we are fasting. So it is to teach you self-control, to give you more faith, to strengthen your mind, emotions, and your spirit, and not just starving. So fasting is completely opposite of starvation and hunger. So you could be doing intermittent fasting, you are restricting yourself from eating food, but if there is hate, if there is anger, if there is jealousy, if there is guilt inside of you which is eating you on a daily basis, you yell, you complain, you cry, you crib, then you are basically starving yourself of food, but you are damaging your body more because of the negative emotion, because of the fear that you have that if I don't do this intermittent fasting, then I cannot stay healthy. So basically you become handicapped, and you only become dependent on one method, where some expert have written some book. Again, the book will be 50 years or maximum 100 years old, but the traditional fasting goes way back to thousands and millions of years humankind has been surviving. So believe in what is traditional, what is tested and approved by the time, by your ancestors, by your forefathers, by your grandfathers, and not some random Instagram influencer or some scientist who give you a report by doing a test on the lab rats that they are if you deprive the rats of food for a long period of time, they will lose weight. That is common sense. If you deprive anybody of food for a long period of time, you will lose weight. But that weight loss is not the fat loss that you are looking for. That weight loss will be muscle loss, that weight loss will be water loss, and along with that you lose your emotional capacity. There is a lot of depression, anxiety, energy drain, extreme hunger. So you don't want to go into deprivation and starvation, but you want to learn the traditional way of where you are doing in self-control, where there is faith, where you are strengthening your mind, emotion, and spirit. So if you want to fast the traditional way, which is from morning till evening, and do not skip your breakfast or do not skip your dinner. These are two most important meals in any tradition that you fast. They will tell you to eat first thing in the morning, either before sunset or early in the or before the sunrise or early in the morning, and then you stay hungry the entire day till the sunset, or when you see the moon. So all these are traditional way of fasting to make sure that it is strengthening your mind, your emotion and spirit, and not teaching you the fear. Now how you would fast is, again, as I mentioned, the ideal way would be from dawn to dusk, from morning to evening. Now when you fast, you are not fasting for some health benefit. As I mentioned, it is for your faith, for your devotion, for purification of you, and not just for the purification of the body and your spirit. They are combined together. So when you fast, you make sure you let go of all the guilt, the anger, the hatred, the negative emotion. If you have to forgive somebody, go and forgive people, ask for forgiveness. Make sure you purify yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually and physically. Then only fasting will help. Now when you break your fast, so when you are fasting the entire day, you are not fasting with the intention and looking at the clock that when will be the time to eat. So you are not focused on the eating window, you are only focused on the fasting and developing self-control, developing faith, doing good deeds, doing act of kindness, purifying your mind, emotions and spirit. Now when you break the fast, you have to make sure that you do not indulge in feasting. So after you break the fast, you have to just eat normal food. A lot of people break the fast, either in month of Ramzan or either you're doing any other fast that I want to feast on food when I break the fast. So feasting after fasting damages and kills all the impact of fasting, because as I mentioned, it is training the mind and you have to make sure that you are eating to live, to survive, and the purpose is not to stay alive and eat more food. So when you break the fast, it should not be feasting, it should be simple, minimum home cooked food, and the quantity of the food has to be very light. You should not be overeating, thinking that, oh, I was hungry throughout the day, so I have to bulk up my amount of food for which I was hungry. Now that kills all the benefit of fasting. Just eat minimum simple home cooked food, and only to satisfy the hunger at that time, and not with the intention to eat everything that you missed throughout the day. So that will kill the benefit of fasting, that will kill the benefit of self-control. The entire purpose is to train, develop self-control, and make sure that your association with food is only that this food is a fuel for my body, for my purpose of life, for my faith, for my mind, for my emotions. So when you shift the focus from fear to faith to self-control, when you abstain from feasting after fasting, then it will make sure that you are truly getting the benefit of fasting, which will lead to good health in the long term. It will not just strengthen your body, but it will also strengthen your mind, emotion and your spirit. Now apart from this, the entire traditional or religious way of fasting, which is from dawn to dusk, if you want to incorporate something, what you can do is you can have something which we call as circadian rhythm. So you follow a circadian way of living. Now this is not a fast, but this is the circadian way of living, where you have your dinner early. Make sure you eat your dinner by sunset, which is 6-7, before 8 would be ideal, before 8 p.m. and then you do not eat anything until in the morning, your breakfast, let's say, which is your 7 to 8 a.m. So from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Now this is not a fast, okay? This is the body goes into the natural state of fasting, but you are not doing it with the intention of fasting. But this is the circadian way of living, where you eat early dinner because that is healthy and good for your body. And when you wake up in the morning, you have your breakfast early, which is again healthy and good for your body. So if you want to make sure that you don't overeat at night, you can practice circadian way of living, early dinner, then early breakfast. And if you want to fast, make sure you fast the traditional way. Ask your grandparents, if they're there, ask your parents that how they used to fast when when they were growing up in their age, because at that time there was no intermittent fasting before 1945. So follow the traditional way of fasting, which will make sure you strengthen your mind, emotion, you develop self-control, you develop faith, you develop devotion, you develop a higher connection with the God, with the Creator, and you purify your mind, body, emotions and soul, which is the true key to good health, and it will help you stay healthy effortlessly. I hope this video helps you eliminate all the doubts and confusion around intermittent fasting, and you take up either traditional way of fasting or you follow the circadian way of living, which will help you stay healthy effortlessly. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please share it in the comment box below. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to my channel to get more time tested and knowledge which will help you stay healthy effortlessly. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon in the next video.